for a moment, see what transpired. Before I speak, I always give honor to God, who's first in my life. And this game ain't that important, really. But I'm going to say this to you, that I thought Kentucky did a great job coming back, fighting back. I whispered in the Calipari's ear, I hope this ain't right, John. That's my athletic director. I said, hey, you needed this more than I needed it. And they came back, and I thought they fought hard to come back, but I felt bad for our kids because I thought they put themselves in a position to win a game. And, you know, we kind of faltered at the end, if I want to call it that. It's something we got to get better. I mentioned that in the locker room. I said, yeah, I asked them, I said, what happened at the end? And they came up with all these different kind of answers. And I said to them, I said, one thing happened, we're undisciplined at the end. You got to be disciplined in those closing moments and execute, because when you're in an environment like this, and this is a pretty good environment, I mean, even this press conference, look at it, we don't have these many people up here in our press conference. It's pretty good. John, what's happening here now? But, you know, I'm excited for our guys because, you know, they know that they have the potential to be a pretty good team this year. And we're going to continue to work hard, and we're going to compete. Questions, please.
Yes. Coach, what did you think of, obviously Kentucky had a lot of freshmen, to come through with you guys having it in position to win, to hold together and do it?
Well, you know, Kentucky's the youngest team in the country, right? Last year, we were the youngest team in the country. So what you see out there is just sophomores trying to do what freshmen have completed there. So, you know, we both going to make some mistakes, but I give Kentucky credit. They never quit. They kept fighting. And I think that's what you get when you're at home. Your fans help you through this thing. And they got great fans, and they help lift them up when they're down.
Coach, do you think maybe there were a few calls that didn't go your way?
No, you don't want to get in that comment. Literally, you know, these new rules and all this crap, I really don't want to get into that because it's disappointing. It's really disappointing, and it's really hurting the game of basketball, I believe. You know, when you, I'm going to check here, let me see something. No, this was a little bit more realistic game. It's 50 free throws shot instead of 75 to 100. And when you get all these fouls and all these calls, I don't think it's good for the fans. I really don't. I think the game is stopped, it's impeded. We go in spurts. And I even think this, you know, what I struggle with is if you're going to win a game, all you can tell your guys to do is put the head down and drive. And to me, that ain't basketball. I mean, basketball is passing, cutting, shooting, doing things. And what we're talking about, just put your head down and drive, and they'll blow the whistle. I hope that happens at our house, because if it does, we'll be okay. Yes, Elvin.
You had about 5 minutes there late, right at the 7-minute mark. You couldn't get past. And that's right when you had that simple lead.
Well, you know, I don't only put that on our guys. I got to give Kentucky some credit too. I thought they competed in that last 5 minutes. You know, they didn't want to lose, and that's how you got to play the game in the last minutes. And our guys got to figure that out. And once we figure it out, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. But now, I think what hurt us was Anton fouling out, because you know he in the last minutes he's our guy, and we got to get the ball to him.
Question here on the right.
Yes.
Go ahead. I'm wondering about UK didn't shoot well from three. How much were you guys hoping to, if not give them the three, concede a three and hope?
Well, we came in realizing they weren't a great three-point shooting team. We know that Young could shoot the ball, and we tried to stay with him as much as possible. And he literally hit a big bucket. He hit that three, and then I think it was Randall hit another that we didn't anticipate. But you know, you only can go to that well so many times. You know, eventually somebody gonna hit a shot. And I thought that would win. You know what I thought? What gave them the advantage? It wasn't the missing of the free throws or anything like that. You know what I thought gave them the advantage was on the glass. I thought they got some offensive rebounds that were key down the stretch that turned it around. And if I sit here and look, they got 18 offensive rebounds. They may be the best offensive rebounding team in the country. You know, I've always believed that, and a close friend of mine, Tom Izzo, he works hard on rebounding the basketball. That's one of his identities. I'm telling you, this team rebounds as good or better than Michigan State. And I thought when I watched them, I mean, it's hard to keep them off of them, and it's more than one.
Larry?
Coach, two things. One, can you talk about the play of Andrew Harrison, number 5, down the stretch for them? And also, why did you tell John that you thought he might have needed this game more than you did?
Well, I mean, it doesn't look good for us to beat Kentucky. I know it doesn't. And I know with these young kids, he's trying to get their attention. And when you're trying to do that, you know, I'm a true believer. You don't have to lose to learn. And I think he's trying to teach them some things, and he don't want to lose the game to get that done, because it only puts him further and further behind in his process that he's trying to develop. What was your other question you said?
How you thought number 5 point guard play kind of down the stretch?
You know, I thought he did a good job. I thought he got his team into what they needed to get, and they realized they weren't hitting from the outside, so they were trying to get to the basket. And you know, one of our game plans, one of our plans coming into this game was to tighten it in, as we called it inside, tighten it in and make them kick out. And down the stretch, we did not do that as well.
Kind of going more off that, Julius Randle finished with 15 and 15, but it seemed like every time he got the ball in the post, he was doubled or triple teamed. What was he able to do well to finish with a decent stat line despite shooting?
Well, he went to the free throw line. That stat line doesn't look that way if he doesn't go to the free throw line. He shot his free throws well. And if you got a big guy that can shoot free throws, that's going to help you immensely. Because down the stretch, they're going to get fouled and they got to make the free throws. You know, guards are going to always make it, but when you get big guys that can shoot it, it really helps. And I'm going to tell you something. He's a beast on that backboard, and he's going to get fouled. So that they should feel good about continuing to do that.
Dick?
Coach, you talked to your left. You talked about the lack of discipline down the stretch by your team, but could you talk a little bit about throughout the early stages of the game when you had the lead and you took the fans out of the game, what kind of discipline your kids showed then? Because it seemed like they had answers for everything Kentucky was doing.
Yeah, and they did. I mean, they hit shots. They hit big shots. And I thought they executed the sets we were trying to put them in. And I think that was discipline. When I say down the stretch, what I meant by they were undisciplined, they didn't get into what we need to get in. They let them take us out of the game. And they shouldn't have. The reason why I believe that, because we were quicker. When you're quicker, you can get to one spot faster than the others can. And we let that happen. Now, the one thing they did have over us was length. And I think that's the difference between high major and mid major. That when you go up against the high majors, you're going to have more length. And it's just athletically, and you take Kentucky, they're athletes, so we're not more athletic than they are, but they got the length. And I thought that prevailed at the end.
Jerry?
I just wonder, kind of tongue-in-cheek, you're from Detroit. I'm wondering about the toughness Kentucky exhibited. What did you think?
Oh, they're tough. They're tough. Don't let anyone play games to say they're not. They're tough. Now, they get a little within themselves because they want to do it themselves individually, but they're tough. They're tough, and they're winners. This is going to be a special year for Kentucky. I don't know how special, but it's going to be special. They got to figure these things out at the end and continue to do that, and I think they'll be okay. The thing I like about them is they got length inside, and they got a number of them. And when you got that, it doesn't matter the way these officials are calling it today. You got another one to throw in there, and so that's a good thing.
Hey, folks, thank you very much. Coach Waters, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.